guys, it is me, Becca. It's a little bit last minute. I'm actually making a cactus garden for my boss, and I'm pretty sure that while I'm doing this, I'm going to be able to answer some of your questions that I asked you to give me for a Q&A, and let's get started. It just doesn't get better than this, you know? In a recent haul video, I showed you guys that I got these gloves that I intend to use for cactus purposes. We're going to test it out today and see if it actually works. I want to show you the plants that I'm going to be putting in this little cactus garden. This first plant is called a hairy blue cereus. And if you can see the detail on the plant, they have a sort of bluish hue to them. I got a variegated jade. This is a miniature version of the rat tail cactus. This, I'm fairly certain, is a kalanchoe. And these grow like crazy. I believe that this is a ruby euphoria, just like the purple one. And then lastly, I got these three plants. They look like some sort of echeverias. Succulents, I'm just really not great IDing. And the pot that I'm gonna put it all in is just this shallow terracotta pot. Last thing I got is also this decorative rock. I want to put a layer of decorative rock on top of the soil. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time talking about the ins and outs of repotting because I'm sure you guys have seen like 100 repotting videos and you know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, you can watch what I'm doing. And if you have a question about something, obviously feel free to ask. This is a pre-made mix that I just keep on hand. It's super well draining. There's perlite, which I'm trying to get rid of, orchid bark, and regular old potting mix. I think I might have asked this in the past. I don't remember the response. If you want to see a soil video from me, let me know. I can talk about what is good soil, what is well draining soil, what does it look like, what does it feel like. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that. Okay, so I'm gonna combine two questions. This question is asking how married life is so far and how it's been combining all of our stuff. It has been very interesting combining all of our stuff because Daniel and I are both grown adults who have lived out of the house for a significant amount of time. It was a little bit difficult finding ways to combine all of our stuff because we have like 3 of everything. So for a long time, this entire wall was just filled with things that we were getting rid of. Married life is really great. I love being married. I think most newlyweds would say that. But it's a lot of fun. Daniel and I are like seriously best friends. We are just always laughing, always having a really good time, and I just really appreciate that about our relationship. Another question that I got was about if I would be getting a Fittonia again. Eventually I will get another Fittonia. Thankfully they are common and becoming more common, so they're not that hard to find here in Tucson anymore. I just know that I cannot have a Fittonia if I plan on doing traveling because every time I go on vacation they die. But if I'm at home with them, they do really great. So this one is a fun question. So what is the last book that I read? So if you didn't know this about me, I studied English literature and linguistics. So I love to read. Naturally, I've always just really enjoyed reading. And then when I went to college and became an English person, it was a lot harder for me to read for pleasure because I was reading like 15 books a semester. Just broken up against all of my classes. A lot of my favorite books I read in college, and I have read them again for pleasure and not to analyze everything that the author did. So I picked up one of those books from college again, and it is called Yo, and it's by a woman named Julia Alvarez. I actually read some of her short stories with my students because those are kid appropriate too. And so yeah, Julia Alvarez is a beautiful person and author, and I love her work. This book is basically about a woman named Yolanda, and you learn about her life and her experiences through a bunch of people who have known her. So every chapter is from a new perspective of someone that knew her. So you get a lot of variety of who Yolanda is, and I think that books like that are incredibly special because it really shows just like the diversity of who we are as humans in a book, because we can think that we know someone, but we only know what we know about them. We've never seen them from another person's perspective. We've never seen them from a different point in their lives. It just talks a lot about human nature all through this one girl. Looking back on the day, what is my most clear memory? My most clear memory from the day was definitely the color and texture of Daniel's eyes. And I know that that sounds kind of weird, but when we were at the ceremony, we were looking at each other, as you do, and I just couldn't stop looking at his eyes. I was so mesmerized by the color of his eyes and like just the way that he looked when he was looking down at me. The color of his eyes looked like honey when light is falling through it. Do I have any plans to move? I have plans to move, but whether or not that will happen is basically and entirely out of my control because of Daniel's job. It's looking right now that that's going to be a little bit before that happens, but we're both staying optimistic. We both want to experience different things. He's obviously not from Tucson, and I have never lived anywhere besides Tucson, just because of financial circumstances after high school. You know, staying in-state for college is so much more affordable than going out of state, and I didn't have any sort of scholarships or anything like that. We would love to move into another country for a little bit, but again, that just depends on his job. With my job, I can go anywhere I want and work because I work virtually, so it's really just contingent on his job, and so we're crossing our fingers that we can move sometime soon. So for the honeymoon, we went to this place called Tulum, and it's a city in Mexico off of the Yucatan Peninsula, and it is very gorgeous, very special place. 1,000 times yes, I would recommend going to Tulum. It was so perfect and beautiful. There were so many things that I loved about it. I actually have a travel blog that I have been writing for, gosh, I guess it's like 3 years. I don't think that I have any consistent readers, and I don't think that my post would ever show up in a Google search, but I have this travel blog, and I write just all about my travel experiences and places that I've gone, called the Wildflower Heart. We stayed in a really cool hotel. It was like an eco hotel, and a lot of their stuff was like all natural, biodegradable, especially their shampoo and conditioner and stuff like that. We stayed at Kai Tulum. It was a really cool hotel. I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so I have done a really good job of getting a lot of soil into the like rosette area of the succulents, but it is a little bit difficult to get soil in all these little nooks and crannies. I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and I will show you guys when it's finished. Okay, so this is the final cactus garden. So that would be all on this endeavor. I did put some decorative rocks in here, if you can see that. Basically just to cover up the soil, because if I'm doing a full-on cactus garden, I want it to look nice. So I still have some leftover rocks, and I'll probably use them for my outdoor ones. But anyway, I'm going to finish the video off there, so I do hope that you enjoyed watching me make this cactus garden. I will see you in the next one. Bye!